Hi, my name is Hugo, and I'm here at my dad's kitchen. We're gonna be making chiles rellenos today. Very simple process, honestly. Once you get the fear out of the way, it's a very simple process that doesn't take up a lot of ingredients, but we'll be using for the recipes. Just I like it with Chile California, which we have right here. You know, muenster cheese as in El Paso, and you have to have your muenster cheese. I have 2 eggs that we're going to be using, salt and pepper, and just flour, and that's pretty much it. You know, that's all you need. It could be a little bit of a lengthy process sometimes, depending on, I guess, how many you're making and stuff like that, but it's for the most part just a little bit of waiting. And what we're going to start with is our chile, which you need to really just put over fire, or you could also do it over a comal, but I think the fire is a lot faster because it just hits it differently and it makes it a little faster. So I'll put it over here for a second. You know, and you just kind of move it around and place it there for until it starts charring, and you want it to char over all parts of the chile. And you just gotta be patient with it, you know, watch it. You can't move too fast. Move too far away because you don't want it to overchar, and then it ruins the skin. And then, you know, once you char that chile, you kind of leave it resting in what they call quesude for like 10 minutes, not too long, just for the skin to kind of peel off of the chile. And once you have them peeled, you gotta cut them open and de-seed them for our final product, which I have ready here. Just peel it off, discard that, open it up, take off the seeds, and with the seeds out, we will stuff it with cheese, which I also have sliced here. This is muenster cheese. It could really be any cheese you prefer to use. I just love muenster cheese, and I've diced it up into little rectangles, which I've used to stuff inside the chiles that have been, like I said, charred, and they've been peeled and de-seeded, and I've stuffed them with chile. It takes some practice, which I still need to work on, not to destroy them too much, but this one right here opened up a little too much, so just to keep the cheese inside it as it cooks, I put a toothpick. But it's not rocket science, it's just practicing, you know, being careful with the chile as you're taking off the seeds, opening it up and stuffing it so that it stays in place. You know, and once you have your chiles ready, it's what they call in Spanish, I don't know how to say it in English, but it's lamprear, where you, I guess, just do an egg batter, and that's what you're going to use to put coat the chile and then put it in the fryer. So for right now, I'm gonna start with the egg, and you just cut it open. A lot of people like to use the shell. What I need to do, actually, I'm skipping an important step, is separate the egg yolk from the whites, because the egg yolk does not come in until later. So in order for the egg to kind of puff up, it needs to not have egg yolk. So I use my hands, which I just washed, but a lot of people like to put the egg and, you know, move it from half of the shell to the other half of the shell, and be very careful so that I apologize, the egg yolk doesn't fall inside the egg whites. Okay, and we're gonna do the other egg because I have 2. The same thing, we just want to separate the egg yolk from the egg whites. Okay. And we do need one of the egg yolks for later, so I will save that for a moment on the side. You know, in the old days, you would whip it up so that it becomes that puff. I don't know what that word of, like, the meringue texture of it is. You would use your fork, but I don't want to use my fork because that takes a long time. I'm just gonna use one of these, what do we call these things? I forgot the name, but I'm just gonna beat it. And it'll take a moment, but it'll start turning poofy. Okay, and you would just kind of whip it up until it becomes like the meringue, kind of stiff, foamy, like doesn't look liquidy anymore. It's just like a stiff mixture. And I'm gonna place that there for a second, and we're gonna turn on the pan with the oil. I'm gonna add enough oil for the whole pan to be covered, but not like it's not a deep fry. So just enough for like there to be oil all throughout the pan. A good little layer over the pan just with oil. Then we're gonna let it kind of start heating up. Okay, and while that heats up, I'm gonna toss some salt. And this is just kind of like, you know, however your palate tells you to go. Just as to taste, just some over the chiles. And I'm gonna toss also some over the flour mixture. This is just flour. And I'm gonna toss over it. And I love pepper, so I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper, but if you're not a fan of pepper, you don't have to. And then just kind of mix the salt, flour, and pepper mixture so that it all kind of incorporates. Nothing too extra, just a little good mix there. Okay, and then we're gonna pass our chiles into the flour. I'm just gonna coat the chile with flour on both sides. I'm gonna do that all for all the chiles. Make sure you try to get in as much of the chile as possible to the side. And once you add the flour, you gotta try to move a little faster because you don't want the flour to really get wet from the moisture of the chile. So that's not something you would do with hours of prep, maybe just 10-15 minutes max. You know, and I have my pan over here heating up, so we're getting ready for the fryer, or the frying part of it. So, something I learned, and this took trial and error, I learned kind of from memory from what I would see my mom, is that once you are going to start putting the chiles in the egg to what they, like I said, lamprear, the cooking technique, you got to do it fast because the ingredients that are in the chiles are going to start kind of like breaking down the egg, so it won't be like battery anymore. It's just going to turn really liquidy. So once we're going to add the yolk and start putting the chiles to fry, that has to happen fast. Otherwise your egg mixture won't last very long. So what I'm gonna do now is toss in my egg yolk. Just one of them, you don't need both of them. And just a pinch of salt. You don't have to do this more salt if you don't want to, because I just like salt. Nothing too crazy. And then mix up the egg yolk with the mixture of the meringue, and then give it a good toss. you just want to make sure that it mixes with the yolk and the meringue, so it's gonna look a little yellow. And now we're ready to put our chiles and put it in the fryer, which I'll move over to this side to do. So now I have my oil. It's already ready for the good temp. It's a good temperature for me to start frying. And I have my eggs mixture, so all we're gonna do is, I'm gonna have a spoon handy here as well. Toss in the chile into the egg mixture and coat it from both sides. Or all sides actually. You can use your hand too if you want to use your spoon. However you like. Once it's coated on all sides, just in the oil. And you can even put a little more with your hand if you like. And get the next chile, the same thing. Coat it with the egg mixture. Down in the oil. And the next chile, egg mixture, and I don't know, as much as possible all over the chile and the oil, and then our last chile. Coated with the egg mixture. Into the oil. And we're almost done. You know, super simple. Now it's just a couple minutes on each side, and you have your chiles rellenos. So So it's been about 2-3 minutes on that side, and it's time to flip it over for the other side to cook. So depending on how brave you are, you can use your hand. Just lift it up a little bit with the tongs. Use your hand. I like to use my hand, just grab it, toss it on the other side. And do the same thing for all of them. And get a good grip with them. Pan is a little small, but we can make it work. They're not cooperating, so we can also use our other one. You can use your spatula, grab and clip. Leave it for another 2-3 minutes on that side. And that's it. Sometimes I use my spatula to throw some oil on the side. As you can see, the side is a little less darker than the other, so I like an even coat all over the chile. You can throw some oil on the side as well to make sure it cooks on the sides too. And that's it. Waiting for the other side to cook, but that should be it. Okay, now it's been about 2-3 minutes on the other side. I'm gonna take them out and put them in the paper towels just to soak some of the excess oil. let them drain for a couple moments and they'll be ready to eat momentarily. I did forget to mention earlier that I had used a toothpick to put one of the chiles together because I kind of opened it a little too much when I was taking out the seeds. And to hold the cheese inside it and kind of keep it in place, I had used a toothpick to kind of like tie it in together. Don't forget to take those out because you don't want to bite into that. And that should be it. Just waiting for them to drain out some oil. So this is the finished product. Our chile relleno already ready to eat. I had some salsa made from the day before with the tortilla, and that's how I like to eat them, but enjoy.